What's up guys, hope you're having a great day. So this will be the only guide you'll ever need on how to create a pop-up that captures 6 to 12% of your brand's monthly site visitors. And this is what we'll cover. So 3 steps on creating a high converting pop-up, and by that I mean how to structure and design it, how to set up in Klaviyo, and how to run A/B tests. Besides that, I'll also tell you the 5 high needle moving A/B tests to run, 6 common mistakes that are lowering your pop-up conversion rate, and 30 high converting pop-up examples, so 15 for mobile and 15 for desktop. So let's get started. Now, these are the 3 steps. Step number 1, decide on your offer, type of pop-up, copy, and creatives. So we'll go over each of these 4 things one by one. Step 2 is creating it inside of Klaviyo and A/B testing to find the winner. Now I'll show you this live in a live tutorial video. I'm not just going to tell you how to do it. But yeah, let's start with the step 1. So decide what offer you should run. Now your offer has the biggest impact on your pop-up conversion rate. You can have the worst offer in the email, and even if you present it in the best possible light, people will not sign up for it, right? So don't just copy your competitors or other brands' offer. Make sure your offer makes sense for your margins and your brand. And with that being said, here are some angles for you to try. Now these are the most common typical angles for e-commerce pop-ups offers, right? First 2 are percentage and dollars off. Now, here's a little psychological trick. If your AOV is below $100, let's say it's $50 for example, then you want to say percentage off. Let's say you want to give people a $5 discount code. Instead of saying get $5 off, it would be better to say get 10% off, because it just subconsciously, psychological sounds better. It sounds like a more deal, even though practically profit-wise, money-wise, it's the same thing, right? Same thing for dollar off. If your AOV is about $100, let's say it's 150, and you want to give 10% off, instead of saying get 10% off, you should say get $15 off. So a little trick that could boost conversion rate, probably not by anything too crazy, but it's still like free conversion rate, right? You don't sacrifice any more of your margins. Besides that, you can try free shipping, mystery discount, a free X with your first order, for example, a free gift, a free guide on whatever the person, if you're selling, for example, a fitness gear, you can say a free guide on how to get a 6-packs the fastest way possible, scientifically proven, stuff like that, right? And finally, we have a giveaway entry. So for example, a sign up to get a 1-year supply of whatever your brand sells, or sign up to get an opportunity to get a free product or $100 off or anything. Now, this one isn't the best because it might attract the wrong type of people who just want stuff for free. But yeah, it's also worth a test, I guess. Next one is decide what type of form you want to go, not from for. Now, there is no universal form that works for every brand. You have to test and see which one works for your specific brand. Now, whenever we start working with a new client, we start with the classic versus the micro commit form, because these two tend to work best for e-commerce brands. So this is how a classical form looks like on mobile, right? It will basically say unlock offer or get 10% off or whatever, and then they have the email input field to enter their email and unlock my offer, and then they will have the success pop-up page saying thank you, check your email inbox to find the offer they signed up for, right? So that's how the classical looks one. Now the micro commit one is like this. So before giving the people the offer to sign up to enter their email, we first ask them, would you like the offer? So in this case, would you like 15% of your first order? And a person has 2 options. No thanks, so this will close the pop-up, or yes please. Now this works because of a little thing called commitment bias, basically meaning that when a person starts doing something, they're more likely to finish it, right? And also it might not just be pushy, it gotta be politely asking, because people are tired of pop-ups that are just pushy, and it's just annoying. It can be annoying if not done well. So yeah, first you ask the people, then you give them the option to sign up for. So that's the micro commit. All right, next one is the quiz form. Now this one is really great, not only for the conversion rate, but also for getting more info on your ideal customer profile, so you can market to him better. So this brand sells shaving and body care stuff, right? So if the person signed up for body care, then you have the data on that. You have the data that this person wants the body care products rather than shaving. So you can market you can tailor your emails, your marketing message and stuff and segment these people so you can talk to them about body care products, not about shaving products, right? Or they also have the option for both, but yeah. So why this works so well in terms of conversion rate? Because it just feels more personal, and it feels that the person gets their needs met, right? So if I came to this website and maybe I'm not so familiar with the website, but I know what kind of problem I have, they just offer me a clearer, more focused solution, and the solution is the product, right? All right, next one is the mystery discount. Now this one is the GOAT pop-up for Dr. Squatch. I don't know if they still run this. They say you got a mystery discount, and they turn it into like a game, not like some transactional thing. So it's really fun, right? And it says choose an emblem, I don't know how it says, like a token to reveal it. Then you choose one of these three, and then they show you this. You got 50% off. Now maybe this is like, if you choose any of these, maybe it will all be the 15% off or whatever. I'm not quite sure. But yeah, it's kind of nice game, and I'm sure they killed it with this one. Alright, and the last one is the spin to win. Now this one is not the best. I don't even bother testing this one because I've never ever seen it work. And basically you enter your email in a chance to win up to 20% off or whatever the the offers. I mean, people know that it's kind of fake, that it's kind of set up, but other than that, it takes too long for the wheel to turn, and I just lose patience. I would rather get dopamine from YouTube than just watching the wheel turn here. But yeah, this one is not the best, but yeah, if you want to, it's an option, right? All right. Next one, decide on your brand's voice copy. Now you want every single step of the funnel, from ads to pop-ups to the welcome flow to campaigns, to them buying, to have the same voice brand and be cohesive. Now and that's because it just makes it weird if you showcase yourself in one light then in another. It just interrupts the trust build, right? So what kind of brand are you? Are you a scam? I mean, not a scammer, but are you this type of brand, that type of brand? You get the point. Same with persons, right? If somebody's like a funny extroverted type of guy, and then one day they're kind of introverted, it's kind of difficult to understand them, and you don't really trust them so much if they were just one thing from the beginning to the end, right? Now, if your pop-up had a funny or friendly type copy, and then your welcome flow was more formal, subconsciously it will just be weird for the reader, right? And like I see here, this brand said 110% of your order, plus our emails are fun. Now, when I open the welcome email, it better be fun, right? Because then they lie to me, and then I'll trust them less. I mean, it's not so much of a deal breaker, but yeah, these small things can add up. Now, other than that, you want to keep your short copy relatively short, probably anywhere between 10 words, and make the experience quick and frictionless. The more effort required, the less likely is the person to subscribe. And the more effort in terms of copy is basically just more text. So instead of saying 110% off your order, that's good enough, that's skimmable, that's readable. More would be 110% off your order when you buy products over $100 in the next 48 hours. Like, that's too much. It's too much info and too much text to read. So yeah, next one, choose your creatives. Here you want to make sure the creatives are aligned with your brand, same thing as copy. What we notice is a lifestyle pictures of a person using the product, or a person, the result of the product. In this case, it's a fitness brand, and the person is not actively using the product, but they looked buff, right? And this is the end result of using these brands' products. And by the way, I believe this guy is an influencer, not quite sure, but I'm pretty sure he is. And if you have any ambassadors that represent your brand, feel free to use them in pop-ups, because it will build more authority, more credibility for you, and there will be a higher chance of people subscribing to you, right? So yeah, try to use lifestyle pictures instead of images of the product itself. And also, if you can find a picture when a person is pointing or looking directly at the offer, it might increase conversion rate, because we as humans tend to look and focus in the direction where other people are looking or pointing to. Like, imagine in the street, if the person was like, look, and he shows to the sky, you would look at the sky, right? So here, this is not an e-com brand, but they did a great job. These guys with an amazing, like, shocking face, pointing to the offer, and the offer is build surveys that work. But yeah, this one, this is an e-com brand, but you'll notice that this is obviously a product, not a person, right? But you'll notice that if this product had a face, it will be this part, right? And it's pointing to the offer, kind of, right? So that's a little bonus, not really a game changer, but a little something, right? Alright, step 2, creating inside of Klaviyo. So here's a full step-by-step guide on how to create your pop-up inside of Klaviyo and how to A/B test it. So I'll play it right now. Alright, what's up guys? Hope you're having a great day. This will be a quick guide on how to set your pop-ups inside of Klaviyo. So I took a random brand called Flow. They basically sell mineral spring water. They sell water that's good for you and the planet. And yeah, I created a sample pop-up for this brand. And yeah, this is how it looks like. So you see there are two different pop-ups for both the mobile and the desktop. And this one is called micro commit. So it basically means that before we give the people the option to sign up to enter their email, we first ask them, do you want the offer? In this case, it's 10% off. So the first thing people will see is this one. So it says, want 10% of your first order. Then if they click yes, please, then this page will show up. Now, if they click no thanks, close form, obviously they will just close the form and continue on the website. So this is how you create it inside of Klaviyo. So first things first, you go to your Klaviyo account, you click on sign up forms, then you select the sign up form you want to start with. I like this one. I usually start with this one. It's kind of like a Picasso type of image, right? Here you want to name the pop-up, and I'll just name it mobile pop-up. We want to have two separate versions for a mobile and desktop, and that's because we want to A/B test it in the future, and it just makes everything more cleaner. The data is easier to track, and yeah. And next thing is selecting the email list that people will subscribe to or get added to when they enter their email on the pop-up. Now this one is really important to not mess up because it will connect it to your welcome flow. The trigger of the welcome flow is when someone is added to the list, name of the list, and you want it to be the same list that people get added to when they enter their email on the pop-up. Otherwise, people won't they won't be added to your welcome flow, and we all know how much money is that missing out on, right? So let's just select email list for this example. And here they ask you if you want to include a teaser, and it says higher conversions, right? So this is kind of a double-edged sword because yes, it will have higher conversions, but it also might be quite annoying for the people on your website, and it might lower the conversion rate of your actual website, right? So yeah, it's kind of a double-edged sword. I usually keep this turned off, but you can also test it. But yeah, let's just keep it off for now. Yeah, let's click create form and wait for it to load. Alright, so now the first thing I want to do is actually go swap to the mobile. I like to first make the mobile because that's where the most of the people will come through. So yeah, let's start with the mobile. Now the first thing when I select this pop-up is what I like to do is actually expand it to 500. So let's see, when I expand it to 500, you can see how bigger it is. And we want to make it like around 70 to 80% of the screen, right? So 500 is good enough. Maybe you can also make it 450, but yeah. And now next thing is I want to update the background. It's kind of white, but not really. So I just quickly update it while we're here. It's kind of gray, right? Okay, next thing I want to remove this text because I don't need it. And then I want to add the logo here, this one, right? So let's add an image. And I already have it ready, or this one. Okay, and let's make it a bit bigger. And this one is too much. How about 150? Maybe 140. All right, that's big enough. I mean, that's big enough for people to see, but not to be like the biggest thing in the pop-up because we want the offer to be the biggest thing. Let's add some padding. Let's make it 20 on the bottom. All right, perfect. Now for the copy, it says want 10% of your first order. And this is what we're gonna do. So want 10% off your first order. Let's select it all. Let's centralize it and let's make it Poppins. Bold. Now we just want the 10% off to be bold. And I like to make these two, I want to make them 36, and for the big offer I like to make it 56, right? So it really stands out and it's possible for people to miss, and I want it to be the first thing they see, and I want them to understand the offer in a split second. So by making it bigger and bolder, it's like the first thing, right? The person doesn't even have to read want your first order, they can just see 10% off and their brain will subconsciously understand the offer. Now let's just update the color of the text. Select all, click here, and yeah, that should be good. Okay, so we have something that kind of looking like this. So the next thing is this section right here. So you can see here it says no thanks close form. So let's write that, no thanks close form. Let's make the font normal. And for the color, I want it to blend in with the background. Now I can just make it the same color as the background because it's a single color background, or I can just make it transparent by clicking here. And I'll just make it transparent. Alright, next thing is the button. Now, here I like to make it a bit smaller, actually 30. Now the first thing we're kind of trained, like we kind of evolved to when a pop-up pops up, we'll look at the top right hand corner to find for the exit, the X button to close it, right? Even if we are interested maybe in the offer, we just look for the closing button. So what I like to do is actually make it invisible, transparent, right? Just go here and make it transparent so the person doesn't see it. Now this doesn't mean it's not there. So if a person clicks there with their mouse or with their thumb, they will still be able to close the form. But we gave them 3 options to close the form. So this one, no thanks close form, or they can just click outside of the form to close it. We want to narrow it to 2, right? I mean, they still have this option, but it's just not visible, right? But yeah, you can test it, but in almost 100% of the times, this will increase the conversion rate without damaging or annoying or anything. All right, next thing is we want to update the button. So yeah, let's see what's the color. Let's copy it. Okay, the text is you definitely don't want to say it continue because that implies there are multiple steps and the person doesn't. The more friction you have, the less likely people are to comply. I mean, to do the action. So you can just say yes, please. And let's make it bigger because it's a single. Let's make it, yeah, 25 is okay. All right, so we have our button. Now I want to make the actual button bigger. So let's make it 64. Now for the next part, we will make it smaller, but because it's the only button, I want it to be big and bold and really noticeable. And now what I want to do is actually save this one for the next step. So I'll just copy it. Let's just click here, copy. Let's name it step 2. All right, let's go back to our original one. Let's add the name just to make it more cleaner. Step 1. All right, and let's just delete the email input field because we don't have it in this step, right? It's in the next step. All right, this kind of looks okay. Maybe we can add a bit padding here. Yeah, just go here. Let's make it 14. Just add some white space. And yeah, the first step kind of looks good. Just one more thing, I just want to add the alt text. Here basically means that if the image doesn't load, then it has to be something, so it will basically be just text. Here you can just give a brief description of the image. So in this case, I would just say flow, mineral, spring, water logo. All right, let's actually copy that so we can have it for the next one here. All right, perfect. Now here the copy is different, so it says take instead of want because they already said they want it, right? And yeah, so here it says unlock my 10% off. So let's do that. Let's make it a bit smaller, maybe 24. Yeah, 24 looks fine. And let's make the button small. Let's make it 60. I still want the button to be larger than the email input field. But yeah, let's make this one 60 and the button 58. Okay, so here, let's just quickly, here it says enter your email, and we can do that, enter your email instead of just email. I mean, both are okay, not really a big difference. But yeah, so here let's go to styles menu. The background is white, I like that one, but I want the border to be all black, right? So it kind of stands out. Let's make it 58. And yeah, all right, so we have our second step. So the person, this pops up, they click here, yes, please. Then they click here, they enter the email, they click unlock my 10% off, and then they get added. Let's just delete this step because it's just unnecessary. Here basically says, here, this one is basically to collect the name. Now this will lower your conversion rate because it's just more extra step that a lot of people won't be willing to take. So the benefit of that is having their email, so you can have kind of a bit more personalization in your email, but the trade-off is just not worth it. I mean, calling someone by their name and by having less people in your email list is just a terrible trade-off. So most of the time you don't want to collect that one, especially in e-commerce. Maybe you want it in like some info products or stuff like that, where it's most like plain text, but yeah, in e-commerce you don't want it. Okay, next thing is the success page. Now here again, let's just add the logo. All right, select image, this one. Let's make it 140 and say Flow Mineral Spring Water logo. Let's add the padding. All right, now here let's just update this copy. Instead of thanks or thank you, I like to say welcome in, because thanks applies that they did something for you, but we want to make it so that they got the benefit. They got 10% off and we only got their email, right? In their minds, maybe not that, maybe they got the better off of the deal, right? Better end of the deal, right? So let's change the color. Okay. And here, because in this case, we don't want to give the people the discount code in the actual pop-up, I will just say, check your email inbox to find your 10% off discount code. Let's bold the 10% off discount code. And let's make the entire thing a bit bigger. Let's say 18. All right, perfect. Now, in this case, you can also add a button for the people to close. Now let's, I still have it. I see you can just say close form if the person doesn't know that they can click outside or anything, right? Because here we don't have this no thanks close form button. Yeah, let's make it bigger. Say this one. Or you can also say like shop now or continue shopping or anything. But yeah, you don't even have to put it, but it's a nice thing. All right, so we got our mobile pop-up ready. So this is the first step. This is the second one. Everything looks clean. All right. Now the next thing is we want to do some targeting and behavior magic. So just go here. First, I like to go to targeting. And here I want to say don't show on certain URLs. And those URLs are those who contain /cart or /checkout. Why? Because at this point, if the person is adding the product to the cart or checkout, we don't want to show them the discount code because they are likely to buy without the discount code and we can just save your margins, right? It's not worth it to add them to the email list. They will also get added automatically when they buy, because when you buy, you have to enter your email. So it's just a waste of time, right? And just a waste of margins, in this case, 10% of your margins, right? And here, it's really important. So select when this form should be displayed. We never want it to be immediately. Why? Because the person didn't even have the chance to meet you, to understand more about your brand, and you're already offering them 10% off. That's not the best. So here we want to select based on rules. Now the first rule is, that is an option, is when visitor is exiting the page. What this means, basically, let's imagine that I'm on the website right now and this is the close button, right? What I want, so what this basically means is that when the person's mouse is hovering towards the exit button or when it's hovering above it, and it's basically right before they end up clicking it and leaving the website, the pop-up will pop up and say, hey, don't leave. I mean, say whatever it's in the pop-up, but let's say, hey, don't leave, here's 10% off, right? Now, this obviously only works for desktop because we can track the mouse movement, but we cannot track your eyes or your finger, your thumb on mobile, right? So yeah, this only applies for the desktop, but yeah, I'll just keep it checked. Next thing, after time delay. This basically means that when a person lands on the website, how many seconds should it pass before the pop-up pops up? So I'll just say 6. That's like anywhere between 4 to 12 is okay, but the sweet spot for most of the brands, at least in our experience, is anywhere between 6 to 8 seconds. So I'll just make it 6. And after visitor has scrolled a certain amount, so we like to make this 70. So basically says after a person has scrolled 70%, then the pop-up will pop up. And these two are really dependent on your brand. Like if your brand has really long a website that explains, maybe it's a difficult product to understand, maybe it's some high-tech stuff, you want to make it bigger, right? You want to make it like 12 seconds so the person has enough time to understand more about the brand before concluding that they even want the discount code, right? And finally, we have after visitor sees a certain number of pages. Let's say if the person browses through 3 pages, then they see it. I usually have this turned off because it's more likely that they will be on the one page for 6 seconds rather than seeing 3 pages in less than 6 seconds, right? So yeah, then it says frequency. So if the person doesn't want, if they decline the offer, they close the form, and when do we want to show the form again? So we can default Klaviyo is 5 days, and that's kind of okay. So yeah, maybe in 5 days the person changed their mind and they are more welcoming the 10% off, right? So you can just leave it at 5 days. That's totally okay. And next thing is, so click outside form to close. You want to have it checked on both, especially if you blended the X button with the background. And here it says display on. Now, because like I mentioned earlier, we want to have separate for desktop and for mobile. I'll just select for mobile here, and I'll show you how to duplicate it and make it for the desktop. Alright, so we got all the triggers, we got the pop-up ready, and that's good to go. The only thing that's missing is clicking here, publish, and publishing the pop-up so it's now on your website. Now I won't do that obviously because this is a dummy account, so I'll just leave it here. I'll just click here. Alright, so now that we have our mobile pop-up ready, what we want to do is click here and click clone, and let's name it desktop pop-up. Let's click continue. Alright, let's click edit. Now, remember earlier in targeting a behavior, we selected display only on mobile. Here we want to display it only on desktop, right? And you'll notice that here the image is on the left. So what we want to click here, just swap it to the left, and let's just change the image. I already have the other one. And yeah, you can see that it's the same image from here. But you'll also notice it's kind of zoomed in, it's kind of bigger, right? You can see here F is kind of cut off, but here it isn't. And so what we want to do is just actually expand the width of the pop-up on the desktop. And that's even better. The better it is on desktop too is also better. But yes, okay, so we have the picture. Let's just name it. Let's say flow mineral spring water. Let's do the same for the other step. Let's replace the image. All right. And for the success page also. All right. Here you can see that it's kind of custom. It's not kind of. So yeah, we can just click here, cover, and yeah, that should be good to go. Let's just quickly give it a look. Okay, so the person sees this. They click here, yes, please. They see the step. All right, and let's check the targeting behavior. 6 seconds, 70%, desktop only, doesn't contain not be shown on cart, and checkout URLs. Okay, perfect. What I also want to show you is how to A/B test. So if let's say here we have 2 steps, but what if only one step is the winner? So this is how we test it. We click here, create A/B test, then we name it. The first one, let's say micro commit, or let's say 2 steps. Now for the other one, let's say 1 step, right? So I'll just create a test. All right. Let's wait for it to load, obviously. And for sort of 2 steps is already done. But for the second one, what we want to do is, obviously, if you want to test different stuff, then you just edit it accordingly. But in this case, we can just delete the first step. And voila. The only thing that people will see is this, take 10% of your first order, and then this one if they sign up. And that's it. Then you click here, continue to test settings. And just click here, publish A/B test. And that's it. Now you also want to do that for the mobile pop-up, because here you can see it says drafted. If we went live, it would say live with 2 A/B tests. And yeah, that's it. I hope this pop-up guide was helpful to you guys, and now you know how to set up in Klaviyo. If you need their help, please let me know. But besides that, have a nice rest of your day. See ya. Alright, welcome back, guys. So step 3 is setting up A/B tests. Now you probably won't get it right on the first go. And what I mean won't get it right is I mean you won't get the highest possible conversion rate for your specific brand on the first go. It probably looks like this, right? You'll probably have, let's say, 6 conversion rate, then it will maybe be 8, then you'll maybe fall down to 4 because you will test something new, then it will go up and down, and that's usually how it looks like. So it's basically like a roller coaster, right? Now, depending on your traffic, you want to test something new every week and adapt it on the feedback data. Obviously, don't test more than one variable at a time, because you won't know for sure what made the difference. If you change the copy and you change the offer, you won't quite be sure what made the difference. So just change the offer one time, then change the copy for that new offer. And yeah, don't change more than one variable at a time. So yeah, and depending on the traffic, when I say that, I mean so it's statistically significant. Klaviyo also has an like a statistics software, so it will basically say, okay, so we have enough statistic, we have enough data to make a decision, but that might be not the best. I would personally choose it after a period of time because you also want to track it, the conversion rate on your pop-up to your welcome flow. Now, while one pop-up might have better conversion rate, but less people will buy in the welcome flow, while the other will have vice versa, right? So I would turn the Klaviyo's AI software thingy to choose the offer, and I would automatically choose it after a period of time and enough data. When I say enough data, it really depends on the brand, right? Because some brands have 30,000 people of monthly site visitors, and some have 3,000, right? So it's hard to tell. I mean, of course, the more data, the better. All right, so you'll probably do over 10 different tests before you find the winner. And by winner, like I said earlier, it's the best possible conversion rate for your brand. But remember, for every 1% increase, you'll get thousands of dollars in new monthly revenue. Of course, depending on your brand, depending on your margins, depending on your size. All right, with that being said, the 5 most biggest high needle moving A/B tests to run your pop. Number 1 is the offer. This one is by far the most important thing that will make or break your pop-up conversion rate. So make sure your offer makes sense for you profit-wise, because you can give the people a higher discount, but the increase in people ordering might not be worth sacrificing your margins. For example, let's say if you give people 10% off and you get 50 people in, but you give people 50% off and you get 60 people buying, then that difference of only 10 people will not compensate for the 5% of difference in your margins, right? So yeah, next thing is form type. Another super important test to run. Don't just go for one and stick with it. Test all of them until you find which one works for your unique brand. Like I mentioned earlier, the regular versus micro commitment one is a good place to start for most e-com brands. Next one, creatives. Use different images. Test a picture of a person using your product versus just an image of a product. And also test the placement of the image and test different font styles and size, right? The next one is the time delay. So the number of people who signed up is more important than the conversion rate. For example, if the time delay is 6 seconds and the number of people who saw the pop-up is 1,500 and you get 7% conversion rate, so that's 105 people per 1,500, right? That's better than if the time delay is 6 seconds with a 10% conversion rate, but the total number of people who saw the pop-up was 1,000. So that will end up 10% of 1,000 is 100 people signing up. So that's 5 more people per this much, right? And you can just 10x it, 30x it, right? And it's a bunch more people. So yeah, the number of people who actually sign up for is much more important than just some percentage of something, right? Alright, and the last one is copy. So you want to test different types of copy. If you have a funny voice brand, you can say something like most emails sucks, but ours don't, ours are fun, we promise no spam, stuff like that. And yes, less copy tends to perform better than more copy, but it's not an absolute and you should still test it. Alright, next thing, 6 mistakes that will lower your pop-up conversion rate. Number 1, the offer is not valuable enough. You need to invoke reciprocity in people and have them believe they are getting something that they value more than their email. And it's getting harder and harder because people are like gatekeeping their email in 2025. But yeah, most of the time this will be some kind of a discount, a percentage of or dollar off. But if you want to offer a discount, try to come up. But if you don't want to offer a discount, try to come up with something that's valuable for your target audience. For example, if you're selling cooking equipment, make a free recipe ebook as your offer in the exchange for their emails. Or in the same example of cooking equipment, you can make a free ebook on how to clean your pans, your cooking stuff better, right? More optimized. Yeah, see, here we have some bad examples of pop-ups. So basically it says let's connect, right? It's nothing valuable. So I won't give my email to a brand that I probably just met and they only say let's connect, right? Early access to new of this stuff, these all stuff are already implied in 2025, right? You don't even have to say this stuff, they're already considered to be true. Join the Row 7 community, I enjoy it, bro. It's not, these things are just not too valuable, right? Next thing, too much copy. Now, from my experience, you want to keep your copy under 10 words. Again, it's a thing to test. Now, make the experience quick and frictionless. The more effort required, the less likely is the person to subscribe, and the effort is too much read. Now, here we have an example, a bad example. So they offer a great offer. So 10% off plus free shipping. It's an amazing offer, right? And they have some copy that's there's no room ever in any pop-up. I cannot imagine a single scenario for pop-ups to include these copies. It says explore the magic, trail magic, so the name of the brand has plenty to explore. Cyber trying a little bit of everything with the Explorer pack. Then they want you to click on the product. Now this is more like a website copy, right? There is no place for this in the pop-up. Now if they only have had everything removed and just said get 10% off plus free shipping in a bold big letters, I'll promise you they would 2x their conversion rate, like hands down 2x at least. But yeah. Next one is too many requests. So more requests equals more effort and less people join your list, right? So asking for a name or a last name in pop-up is usually not the way to go. Yes, it will make your emails more personalized by calling people by their name, nothing too special, but the number of people you lost because of it is not worth it, right? You should only ask for one input at a time. The priority is getting their email, then their phone number, then everything else. And honestly, you should just collect their email and their phone number. Everything else is just not worth it. Alright, so here we have some bad examples again. Now this pop-up would be great if they only had $10 off your first order, then just the email info field and the CTA without this copy and asking people for first name or even last name. Like first name is already too much, but last name is just pushing it too much, right? The same thing here, like just say if they just remove this, and okay, you can ask for the phone number in the next step, and just this copy. By the way, by submitting your form, you agree to the tech or legal stuff. It's not required for you to do. I mean, maybe in countries like Germany, but in the US, you're not legally obligated to put this in your email or your pop-up, right? And it would just lose your conversions for no reason at all. So yeah, I would just remove all of this, just say get 50% off, enter your email and get the code. That's it. And it would 2x the pop-up conversion rate, I can guarantee it. Alright, next thing, the offer is not clear enough. Now the whole idea of a pop-up is getting people's info, usually email, by offering them something valuable in exchange. That's the whole idea, right? If the reader doesn't understand the offer in a split second, it's not clear enough, usually, for most of the offers. So you want to make your offer as clear and as large as possible. Why as large? Because it makes it more eye-catching, right? So here we have an example from this brand. They're offering 30% off. 30% off is really big chunk of their margins, right? So they want to get the most out of it. And instead of just saying in big, bold letters, get 30% off, they say welcome to Mutual, the name of the brand. And then they have like a big text block here, right? The 30% off is not even bolded. So yeah, I would literally just say get 30% off and remove this stuff, and that would 2x the conversion rate. I can guarantee it, to be honest, at this point. All right, same thing for this brand. $25 off, complete your indoor ecosystem. Now again, this is copy for the website. Complete your indoor ecosystem. This could be a headline or something, I don't know, but definitely not in the pop-up. At least they bolded the offer, but still that's not big enough. That's not important now, especially for $25 off. I mean, depending on how much the product costs, I'm not sure, but it's probably a good chunk. All right, next one, time delay. Now, having your pop-up fire immediate is never the way to go, right? So this is one of the easiest ways to annoy your customers and potentially harm your website conversion rate. With that being said, you also don't want to wait too long, because then you risk people bouncing before even seeing your pop-up offer. Time delay mostly depends on how much time a person needs to spend on your website before they understand more about you and your brand. Now, obviously, if you're selling like high technology stuff, then it will take more copy to explain the product, right? But if you're selling like coffee or something regular, skincare, coffee, I don't know, keyboards, if it's not something like crazy, something new that has never been seen before, you don't really need to wait too long for the pop-up. And yeah, and also depends how long your website is, like scroll wise, right? And usually that's anywhere between 4 to 12 seconds, but for most e-com brands, the sweet spot is somewhere between 6 to 8 seconds. So we'll just start with 6 seconds, to be honest, for most brands. Again, depends on your website. And finally, we have load speed. That if the images on your pop-up load too slow, that is mostly for desktop, there's a high chance people lose patience and close it immediately. You know, when it loads, it's just one bit. And yeah, the way you solve this is by compressing your image and making it lighter so it will load instantly, right? You can go to websites like compressor.io or tinypng. You can literally Google compress image and click on the first website. That's not an ad, probably, and just compress the image, download it, and use that compressed image instead of the original one. And yeah, that's it. Now let's check out some great pop-up examples for the mobile. Now I'm just gonna leave this whole entire Gamma document in the description below, and you can just access it and look at all these great pop-up examples. Yeah, this one is really great. So you got a mystery discount to reveal us, tell us what do you struggle with the most. And again, we also get more data besides getting the people's emails, right? So really cool. All right, 10% of your order. This one is really common language, right? And yeah, so those are the mobile examples. And here we have some great desktop examples. Basically the same thing with images, right? Because you have more space for the image. Yeah, all the great examples. You can have access to them for free in the description below. And yeah, thank you for sticking to the end. Hope you guys got some value from this guide. And if you need someone to help you create and set up a free pop-up for your brand, just email me at bookman@emailgrandmaster.com or leave me a comment below and we'll cook up a pop-up for your unique brand. Other than that, if you want to hit 30 to 100k in new monthly revenue with it all done for your email marketing, when I say all done, I literally mean all done. You probably have to spend 1 hour a month, and that's just probably reviewing what we did. And yeah, you can just book a call. I'm sure there will be a link to my Calendly in the description. But yeah, if you don't, that's okay too. I hope you got the value you wanted from this video. I hope you learned how to create a pop-up. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Have a nice rest of your day. See ya.